Stop scrolling. No, seriously. Because what if the exhaustion you feel, the anxiety you can't explain, the strange sense that life feels heavier than it should, isn't laziness, isn't weakness, but the predictable psychological outcome of the environment you were born into? What if Gen Z isn't failing, but reacting exactly how a human brain would react to constant comparison, infinite stimulation, economic uncertainty, and attention warfare? Welcome to Psykinetic. Today, we are going to break this down in 3 parts: the problem, the psychology explanation, and the solution. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The problem. There is something quietly happening to an entire generation. Not dramatic enough to make headlines. Not visible enough to trigger alarms. But powerful enough to shape daily life. A generation with more technology, convenience, and connectivity. Yet feeling more anxious, more restless, more mentally exhausted. Gen Z is often described with simple labels: distracted, sensitive, unmotivated, overwhelmed. But labels hide mechanisms. Gen Z did not just grow up with the internet, they grew up inside it. For the first time, developing minds were immersed in infinite stimulation, comparison, information, and noise. Previous generations experienced stress in episodes. Gen Z experiences it continuously. A mind that never fully disconnects. A nervous system that rarely powers down. Silence becomes rare. Stillness becomes uncomfortable. Boredom becomes intolerable. Rest begins to feel strangely unsatisfying. And slowly, baseline mental tension rises. Not panic. Not crisis. Just a persistent background unease. A subtle feeling that, I should be doing more. I am falling behind. Something is wrong. Even in moments of rest, success, or pleasure, the environment itself keeps generating pressure. Scroll after scroll. Notification after notification. Comparison after comparison. Your brain never receives the signal. You are safe. You are done. You can relax. This is the problem. Not a motivation crisis. Not a discipline crisis. But an environmental overload crisis. And to understand why this happens, we need to look at the psychology. Chapter 2. Psychology explanation. Human brains evolved in a world of scarcity. Scarcity of information, stimulation, and social feedback. Now imagine placing that same brain into an environment of psychological excess. Excess of novelty, comparison, input, and distraction. The brain adapts, but adaptation comes with consequences. Keycap 1. Dopamine saturation. Every scroll, every like, every short-form video. Tiny dopamine spikes. Not happiness, but anticipation. Your brain recalibrates. Baseline stimulation rises. Normal life begins to feel dull. Slow activities feel boring. Stillness feels like deprivation. Motivation weakens, not because of laziness, but because reality cannot compete with engineered stimulation. Keycap 2. Infinite comparison effect. Humans once compared themselves to a small social circle. Now, millions of curated lives. Filtered success. Edited happiness. Highlight reels of existence. Your brain interprets this emotionally, not logically. I am behind. I am not enough. I should be doing more. Comparison becomes chronic psychological pressure. Keycap 3. Attention fragmentation. The modern digital environment trains rapid switching. Scroll message, video, notification scroll. Attention becomes shallow. Deep focus becomes difficult. Mental noise increases. Satisfaction decreases. Not because intelligence declined, but because the brain adapted to novelty velocity. Keycap 4. Chronic uncertainty and anxiety. Layer onto this economic instability, career unpredictability, social volatility, global crises. The nervous system absorbs continuous uncertainty. Safety feels fragile. Future feels unstable. Anxiety becomes ambient, low-level, constant. Combine all of this and you don't get weakness. You get predictable cognitive fatigue. A brain reacting normally to an abnormal environment. Which brings us to the solution. Chapter 3. The solution. If the problem is structural, the solution cannot rely on willpower alone. It requires environmental redesign. Keycap 1. Dopamine contrast restoration. Your brain needs stimulation contrast. Without contrast, pleasure collapses. Introduce controlled low stimulation moments. Walk without your phone. Sit in silence. Allow boredom. Reduce constant input. Uncomfortable at first. Then stabilizing. Then mentally liberating. Because boredom is neurological recovery. Keycap 2 Comparison Detox. Curate your digital inputs deliberately. Ask one brutal question. Does this feed clarity or insecurity? Unfollow aggressively. Protect mental bandwidth. Your brain believes repeated exposure. Keycap 3 Attention Rebuilding. Focus is trainable. Start small. 10 minutes of uninterrupted depth. No multitasking. No stimulation stacking. Your mind regains stability gradually. Keycap 4 Noise Reduction Windows. Schedule silence intentionally. Not escape, but maintenance. Because constant input is cognitive stress. Chapter 4. The Internal Shift. There is a hidden psychological trap many people never realize they're inside. When the environment creates distress, the mind assumes, I am the problem. Not the system. Not the design. Not the conditions. But the self. Gen Z hears this constantly. You lack discipline. You are too sensitive. You are addicted. You are distracted. But psychology tells a more uncomfortable truth. Human brains are highly adaptive machines. They do not malfunction randomly. They respond to inputs. And Gen Z received inputs no generation has ever faced before. Infinite novelty, infinite comparison, infinite information, infinite psychological stimulation. Your brain didn't fail. It adapted. Restlessness is adaptation. Shortened attention is adaptation. Reduced baseline motivation is adaptation. Comparison anxiety is adaptation. But here's where suffering intensifies. Because once adaptation is interpreted as failure, self-conflict begins. You start fighting your own brain, blaming your own mind, resenting your own attention. And this creates a second layer of distress, not just exhaustion, but guilt about exhaustion. Not just distraction, but shame about distraction. Not just anxiety, but anxiety about being anxious. This is psychological friction. Energy wasted not on solving problems, but on resisting your own internal state. And relief begins with a simple shift. From, what is wrong with me? To, what is happening to my brain? That question changes everything. Because curiosity reduces self-attack. Understanding reduces internal resistance. And when resistance drops, clarity returns. Slowly, quietly, but powerfully. Chapter 5. Reclaiming Control. Here is the deeper battle Gen Z faces. Not technology, not social media, not productivity, but attention sovereignty. Because attention is no longer passive. It is contested, competed for, engineered against. Every platform, every algorithm, every feed is designed with one primary objective: capture and hold your attention. Your focus is not drifting accidentally. It is being pulled deliberately, which means modern mental fatigue is not just psychological. It is structural. And survival now requires a new skill. Not intelligence, not talent, but conscious attention management. Keycap 1 Redefining Stimulation. Not all stimulation is equal. Some stimulation drains. Some restores. Mindless scrolling exhausts. Deep engagement energizes. Noise fragments. Meaning stabilizes. Your brain does not just need less input. It needs higher quality input. Slow media. Deep conversations. Focused creation. Silence. Reflection. Experiences that expand attention instead of shattering it. Keycap 2 Relearning Stillness. Modern life trains constant engagement, but psychological stability requires stillness. Not meditation cliches, but neurological silence. Moments without consumption. Moments without comparison. Moments without input. At first, uncomfortable, because your brain expects stimulation. But then, something unexpected happens. Mental noise decreases. Thoughts slow down. Attention stabilizes. Because stillness is not emptiness. It is recalibration. Keycap 3 Rejecting Invisible Pressure. Much of Gen Z's distress comes from undefined expectations. I should be more successful. I should be more productive. I should be doing more. But who defined more? Algorithms amplify ambition. Social media inflates standards. Comparison distorts timelines. Your nervous system reacts to artificial psychological pressure. Reclaiming control means questioning, is this pressure real or inherited? Because not all urgency is legitimate. Not all expectations are yours. Keycap for the new psychological advantage. Here's the paradox. The same environment creating distress also offers unprecedented opportunity. Gen Z can access infinite knowledge, infinite tools, infinite creative leverage, infinite learning resources, but only if attention is stabilized. Because scattered attention consumes. Focused attention compounds. And this becomes the true divide, not between generations, but between minds that drift and minds that deliberately anchor. Gen Z is not facing a motivation crisis. It is facing an environmental complexity crisis. A world of infinite inputs, infinite comparisons, infinite psychological stimulation. The question is no longer, how do I work harder? But, how do I protect my mind? Because your attention is your reality. Your focus shapes your emotions. Your inputs shape your thoughts. Your environment shapes your brain. And once you understand this, you stop blaming yourself. You stop fighting invisible forces blindly. You stop treating exhaustion as weakness. And you begin doing something far more powerful. You begin designing your inner world consciously. In an age where everything competes for your mind, the ultimate advantage is simple: control over where it rests.